From the previous lesson, House of Coffee was able to identify the importance of knowing how many units of product or at what sales volume they need to sell to break even, or have an operating income of 0. But another question the business owner has is, what is the dollar amount we need in revenues to break even? We can find the break-even point in dollars using the contribution margin ratio we learned in our previous lesson, and we can apply it to our break-even analysis. Recall that we can determine the contribution margin ratio by taking the contribution margin and dividing it by the sales revenue. We come to the same answer as a percentage whether we are using the total contribution margin divided by total sales revenue, or using the unit contribution margin and dividing it by unit sales price. Since House of Coffee's favorite product is a large cappuccino, the owner suggests we use this beverage for the next calculation that will help us determine the contribution margin ratio. So $4 unit contribution margin divided by $7 unit sales price. That equals to 57% contribution margin ratio, or $8 million total contribution margin at 2 million units sold, divided by $14 million in total sales revenue, again at 2 million units sold. That equals 57% contribution margin ratio. The break-even point in dollar formula is total fixed cost divided by contribution margin ratio. So, to answer the owner's question of what is the dollar amount needed in revenues to break even, we can use the following formula. $5 million in total fixed costs divided by 57%. That equals to $8,750,000 to break even. House of Coffee needs to make $8,750,000 in large cappuccino sales revenue to break even, or have an operating income of $0. We saw this earlier in our trusty contribution margin income statement. Here it is again. House of Coffee is now able to know exactly how much revenue from large cappuccino sales they need to break even. For House of Coffee and any businesses, finding the break-even point is critical for their business.
Hello, certified professional. If you are enjoying this course, get accredited with CPE credits for watching it. Click the link in the show notes or visit cpeflow.com to access the full course ad-free and pass the final assessment quiz to officially earn your NASBA approved CPE credits and certificate of completion.
We can use either formula, the break-even point in units or break-even point in dollars, to find the same result. In order to show the owner that these formulas are interchangeable, you suggest to review them side by side. Step 1, $7 sales price per unit less $3 variable cost per unit. That equals $4 contribution margin per unit, or CMU. Step 2, $5 million in fixed cost divided by $4 contribution margin per unit. That equals to 1,250,000 units to break even. Then we can use the break-even point in units we just found using the formula and apply the sales price per unit. So step 3, 1,250,000 break-even points in units times $7 sales price per unit. That equals to $8,750,000 total in sales revenue versus the break-even point in dollars for House of Coffee's large cappuccino. Step 1, find the contribution margin ratio by dividing contribution margin per unit of $4 by sales price per unit of $7. That equals 57%, and we're just rounding up. Then we can use the contribution margin ratio to find the break-even point in dollars using the formula. Step 2, $5 million in fixed costs divided by 57% contribution margin ratio, and that equals $8,750,000 in sales revenue needed to break even. Now, step 3, take 8,750,000 break-even point in dollars divided by $7 sales price per unit. That equals to 1,250,000 250,000 units to break even. You see that we can approach the break-even point by finding the dollar amount or the units, and we will come up with the same answer in total revenues needed and the total units needed to be sold either way. The formulas will convert because they are interchangeable. House of Coffee now knows what their break-even point is, but it's evident that no business simply wants to break even. Everyone wants to make a profit. Otherwise, what is really the point? In the next lesson, you will help the company determine and calculate an optimal profit target. I'll see you there.